Hi everyone, welcome to Harsha Trainings and myself Harsha. I am a PEGA trainer at Harsha Trainings. And in today's video, I am going to give you some information about how to crack interviews. While you are attending PEGA interviews, there are some of the things that you should be aware of. So I am going to give you some tips and tricks and give you some sort of understanding about the mindset of the interviewer. So like this, and following this and knowing about all these facts, definitely it is going to help you to crack any interview easily. And here we are going to focus on all these 5 different questions. The first one is, what do you need to learn in PEGA? See, and the second question is, what is meant by scenario based questions? And what is interviewer's mindset? And why interviewers reject you? Even though when you have answered all the questions, many people are going to get rejected. And where exactly people fail cracking interviews. Okay, so all this I am going to clearly explain you. So watch this video till the end without skipping. So this is really going to help you to crack your interviews for sure. And now, so what do you need to learn PEGA? See, that is the first question. See, many people, they are trying to give the interviews on PEGA and they learn, maybe they're working here and there in some companies, maybe for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years experience guys. Still, even though they have the work experience and exposure, still they are failing cracking the interviews. Okay, and what is the reason? It is very simple. They are not getting chance to work on all the rules in PEGA. And if you see, if you're going to work in an enterprise application development in a project, and mostly you'll be working on activities, data transforms here and there, decision rules, and sometimes validations and UI sections and flow action and case types where you have flows and all. Hardly you create stages and all, and you never get chance to work on connectors like connect soap, connect rest. You never get chance to work on service soap, service rest, and maybe in that service or connector also while you are working, mostly you will focus on working with activity again. At the end of the day, it is an activity or data page or data transform. And even if you are working with agents or job scheduler, queue processor, they are also only one thing that you are going to ultimately deal with activity. So as a developer at 3 years, 4 years level, you will never get chance. You will never be getting a chance to create the things from the scratch. In your lifetime, you may not be able to get a chance to create edit validate rule. Okay, that is possible. In a lifetime, you not be able to get a chance to work on let's say connectors or services related authentication things, application authentication, LDAP authentication. For a resource who had worked on for 5 years or even 8 years also, they may not be able to get these chances in the project, because in the project there will be many people. Usually tech leads are going to be participating in the design aspects and all, and the developers will be given with a business requirement where they are going to work on after the design and the base structure is being created. So that is the reason you do not have a chance to learn. But if you are attending an interview, the thing is different. In interview, the interviewer is going to ask you everything about like creating agents and the different configuration options in the agents and connectors, services, different configuration options and different tabs, different options in decision table, decision tree, and even edit validate related, and the activity and its methods, data pages, node level access group. Like this, there are so many questions that will be asked which you have never worked on, but still you have to respond or answer those questions in the interview. But remember one thing, your interviewer also knows that you did not work on so many things, because he is also an employee like you working in the same project. He must be knowing that everyone will not be getting the chance to work on everything in PEGA. So in that case, how are you going to deal with these things? See, why interviewers are going to question like this? So what is their mindset? So why they are asking like this? Okay, they are going to ask you whether at least you did not get chance to work on the things, but you have that interest towards self-learning by reverse engineering your application or not. Okay, you did not get chance to work on connect soap or connect rest, but connect soap or connect rest may be there in your project for sure. Someone would have already implemented and it is available. In that case, if you are a kind of person, if you are looking for your career growth, and if you are a kind of person, you do research on the subject that you are working on, definitely you would have reverse engineered all these things and you would have learned by yourself, and where you are looking for career growth and where you wanted to crack interviews. So even if you reverse engineer, if you are not practically doing it from the scratch, even though if you are reverse engineering, definitely you will be able to gain the knowledge and understand it, and in fact you can practice the same on your home version. That is possible. Okay, so that's how you might have knowledge about understanding more and more different concepts in PEGA, even though when you're getting real time, when you're not getting chance to work in enterprise application development. And here the intention of the interviewer is going to be to understand the ability of the candidate, whether he is such a kind of person who research by himself and learn the things. That self-learning ability is there or not there. You don't have self-learning ability, it means that you will be working on something which has been assigned to you. You do not enhance yourself, you do not research on the application. So usually every organization expect you to be a kind of person who has the ability to self-learn anything by yourself, and also a kind of mindset to have a research oriented mindset, and you are enthusiastic about new things to learn the subject in the subject that is been assigned to you. So this type of mindset people are needed for the organizations. That is why your interviewers are going to ask you the questions related to some of the topics. Even you do not get practical hands-on chance to practically have hands-on on the respective topics. Why they ask? You did not implement, but it was there in your project. You must have learned it. Because it is there in your project, definitely you must have focused and learn this. So that's why they will ask you the questions like this. Okay, and moreover, many people when they are learning PEGA, they bother about PRPC. Always PRPC, they look at PRPC as just a front end. So the front end part, they bother about application, decision rules, decision table, routing concept, SLAs, agents, all this. So behind the scenes, what is happening? What is the design of PEGA also you need to understand. See, those who are clearly aware of understanding the design of PRPC, definitely you will be able to learn the best out of best. It is not only the front end you are going to learn. When you are learning PRPC, you bother about the back end tables as well. So there are so many tables which are very, very important to understand how PRPC is reacting to modify, to update its backend or to create something in the backend. All these things you must be aware of. Without knowing these things, how come you are going to be a developer? You cannot claim that you are a developer when you just know about a forward engineering where you know only about PRPC environment, just a high level. Okay, you should know. See, in the backend, you should focus on understanding. So let me tell you an example. A work object is being created and work object is getting stored into some table here. Usually we call it as work table. Now, interviewers do not ask you where does the work objects get stored. That is a very silly question and simple question. So everyone can answer it. That is not the knowledge that they expect. Now the question, example I am telling. Now the question is, okay, if I create a work object is getting stored into work table. Okay. See, there are so many tables available in PRPC. Not only one single work table. There are n number of tables available. Now the question is, how does the process commander exactly knows which table that it has to store the work objects into? You created a work object by making a transaction. We created a work object. Imagine work object has been stored into table 1. Usually it is PC work. Imagine this is the table where the work object is getting stored. See, other than this table, there are so many tables available in backend PEGA. So why not work objects are getting stored into other table? Why only into this table it is getting stored? You should know the answer for this. You should know the answer for this. Why the work objects are getting stored only into this particular table? Why not into another tables? See, the intention here is not knowing only about work object storage place and how come it knows to store. The intention behind asking this question is, if you are able to solve this question, if you are able to answer this question, the same is applicable to all tables in PEGA. Means with respect to this particular point of view, you know the design of PRPC, everything. Okay, that is same is applicable for every rule that you create in PEGA. Every rule type that you are dealing with PEGA here. See here, properties, sections, flow actions, flows, case types, decision table, declare decision rules, declarative rules, declare index, declare trigger, declare on change, agents, services, connectors, activities, data transforms, data pages. The answer that you are going to say about work object, how the process commander knows the exact table where to store the work objects. If you are going to answer this, you have clear idea about PRPC, its architectural design, about each and every rule that is going to get stored into backend table. So you have the basic and fundamental understanding about the design of PRPC's database and rules and the corresponding tables. So that is the intention behind asking the question. Question may be simple, answer may be simple, but that is going to showcase your knowledge is huge. Okay, that is the point. Okay, so this is how interviewers are going to ask you questions related to something very generic. So if you are knowing about some of the things very generic way, generic things you apply on anything which is specific in your application development. So that's why PRPC, while you are learning, you have to learn it at its core level of design. Only those people who are aware of core level of design of PEGA, they will be able to become a technical person or a techie working on PEGA, and even they can easily complete their projects and they will be number one in the organizations. That's why this type of questions will be asked. And one more question, let me tell you another example. Another example is, so declare index you are creating. Okay, you are optimizing the page list properties, declare index is getting created. Okay, they will suppose the question may be declare index. In the front end, if you see, whenever you are going to optimize page list properties, it creates an index table, it creates declare index rule. Okay, and one more thing is, it is going to have that property related index table gets created. Okay, this is very simple. An index class gets created, properties gets created, index class derives from index-OOTB class. Everyone knows about this. Anyone who works on PEGA, just optimization wizard, if they access, they know it. That's not a big deal. But the question is, okay, everything is getting created, that's okay. I have an index table created. See, when I create work objects, the work object has so and so page list for which index table is available in the backend. Where is it available? The index table is available here somewhere, PR index something. Okay. Okay, so when index table is available here, see, for a specific page list, how does process command identifies the exact index table to store the data of the page list? Apart from storing it in blob, how does it knows to store exact index table? Here also there are so many index table. Which index table that the the page list of a related work object should get stored? How does PRPC knows? This is what learning PEGA means. PEGA, many people are getting confused. It is not confused. Many people are under impression learning PEGA is just knowing about developing an application, creating case types, and when you create case types, you get stages, process, add, and everything you are going to execute, and you get a transaction model, screen 1, screen 2, screen 3, and you complete, resolve the work object and clap yourself. That is not learning PEGA, for your information. That's not the way to learn PEGA. That's not the only thing that you have to focus on. That is just a minor of 1% of PEGA. And understanding PEGA is understanding about its tables and columns inside tables, the relation between PRP's environment and this backend tables. Okay, and if you are going to learn about routing, how to do conditional routing, this is not a big deal. What are the routing tables in the backend? So where the information gets stored, what is the column, what are the columns, important columns to bother about in the routing tables in the backend, which column is for what purpose. See, why do you need to learn all these things? It is very easy for anyone to work on forward engineering. Forward engineering is the one that I am telling about, working on PRPC, work on routing and work on conditional routing and all. You are being given with a business requirement, please route so and so assignment to operator 1, 2, 3, any of these three based on condition. Condition A is equal to 10, operator 1, condition A is equal to 20, operator 2, condition A is equal to 30, operator 3. This requirement anyone can implement, that's not a big deal. Now, see, I'll tell you one requirement. Business has come to you, business was asking you that, see, our assignments are getting stored into some table. There is one operator. See, this operator has 10 tasks in his work list yesterday. Today he came back and he was not finding those tasks in his work list. Could you please research on this issue and find out what has happened? This is where you have to deal with reverse engineering. This is where you should know about the backend tables, and this is where you should know, apart from front end, you should also know about backend table and front end plus backend relation. This is where people are failing in the development when they are working on PEGA. This is where people are failing to crack the interviews when they are learning PEGA. See, if you do not focus to learn to understand about the back-end and front-end relationship and the respective tables and the columns and the purpose of many of these columns, then you will not be able to just perform better in your enterprise application development, because enterprise application development is not only about forward engineering of developing the things from the scratch, but it is also forward engineering, reverse engineering, troubleshooting, enhancements, bug fixing. All this you have to do in the enterprise application development. If you have to do forward engineering, it is very easy, just on the fly like this you can do it, but reverse engineering is very difficult. Reverse engineering, if you wanted to master it, you must know about PRPC and its backend tables and relations, columns, everything. So that's why so many questions that are being asked to you in interviews, those are related to, these are related like this, these type of questions, the examples which I've told you so far. Okay, I hope you understand. So how you need to learn PEGA? You need to learn PEGA to focus on not only learning PRPC front end and creating a business application and making a transaction model and execute and create work objects and resolve the cases, but also you need to understand front end back end relation, tables, and how and why, where, and what are the columns, purpose of each of these columns, and the relation between different tables. All this one should be aware of in order to be a perfect PEGA developer. I hope all of you clear about it. Okay, next let's go ahead with the next question. So next one, so what is meant by scenario based question? This is what I told you, scenario based question. See, reverse engineering. See, business, whenever you are going to work on enterprise application development, business will not teach you technology. Business is going to give you one requirement. So they'll tell you one requirement. The requirement is like this. You have to work on this. Whenever a requirement is being given, you need to understand its functional development. When you understand its functional development, your mind should have that idea of what rules to be used. For this requirement to implement, what are the different rules in PEGA? I have learned 100 rules. I don't need 100 rules to implement this particular requirement. Out of these 100 rules, what rules specifically I need to know about, I need to use in order to implement this requirement. If that concept or that point is going to click in your mind and you know the algorithmic steps of how to implement this requirement, that means you are a perfect developer. That's why in interviews they are going to ask you one scenario like, how do you get the business requirement? The requirement approach the same way as giving a requirement from the client. Business is the interviewers are going to give you one requirement and ask you the solution. You have to tell it orally. So when you are good at understanding the requirement, when you are good at analyzing the requirement, and when your mind is going to think about the required rules to be created in order to implement this particular requirement, that means you are a perfect developer. You have good subject knowledge and you will be in for sure. Okay, so this is the reason why they are going to ask you scenario based questions. I hear from many students. So many students or many people who are working on PEGA, they will be asking me, Harsha, they are asking more in real time, in depth. So let me tell you one thing. Let me ask you one thing. If the interviewers are going to ask you some questions in real time or some questions scenario based, isn't it from PRPC? Or the concepts are not from PEGA? They are going to go ahead of PRPC, any other subject? No, that is not a different subject. The questions that they are going to ask, the scenarios that they are going to ask, everything is from the subject point of view only. All that can be implemented by using the features that you learn from PEGA. So if you are not getting the idea of understanding that requirement and design and development for that requirement, which means your learning is of no use. That is why they are not going to select you. So that is one of the main reason. Okay, and here in order to understand the business requirement, you need to have the functional thought process, as well as in order to know the solution of the requirement, how to implement it, you need to have the technical thought process. Technically, what are the rules to be used? And in some cases, they are going to ask you questions related to troubleshooting and reverse engineering and troubleshooting or modifications like this. That time you need to know about front end as well as back end of PRPC. So this is what most important while you are going to attend interview, why the interviewers are going to mainly ask you scenario based questions. They need to know about your ability to understand the functional point of view, your ability to analyze the business requirement, your ability to understand which technical aspect you can make use of in order to implement that particular functional requirement. So that is the main idea. If you are able to fit into this to be best, definitely you can perform on the floor. There is no doubt that you will be in. Okay, so that's why you need to learn PEGA at its best functional point of view, technical analysis point of view, and technical rules point of view, rules purpose, at what different scenarios I can use, reverse engineering, as well as even troubleshooting, even understanding the relation between PRPC and its backend tables, and the purpose of each of the columns, I mean not each of the columns, some of the columns in some of the tables and their importance. All this when you know, you are said to be a perfect PEGA developer. Okay, now let's look at the third question. What is the interviewer's mindset? Okay, see, many people they tell me that interviewers are not selecting, they are simply rejecting and all. See, for a corporate company to set up an interview, they have to spend a lot of time. So to find out a resource to take an interview, suppose if it is half an hour interview that they have to take, at least they need to spend 1.5 hours. Half an hour before itself they should be ready, set up everything, and half an hour interview may proceed to 45 minutes, and afterwards the candidate to reach out to the project after the interview gets completed, he may take another 15 minutes like that. See, for you to take half an hour interview, one resource in a project have to spend take an off for 1.5 hours. That will be a big deal in a project. See, a resource being not available 1.5 hours in a project is a difficult thing. And also one more thing, let me tell you, the difficult task in IT industry, the difficult job in IT industry is being a recruitment HR and being a manager. Okay, manager in a project is highly difficult, and being a recruitment manager is also highly difficult. Why I am saying highly difficult? The tasks that I have to do will not be there in their hands. See, they have to recruit a candidate. It is candidate wish whether to join or not. It is a developers, it is the other technical people, they have to hire finding the right candidate. They don't know when they will be finding the right candidate in the market. So the deadline is one week. 1 week they are not pretty much sure within 1 week it will be done or not. For a developer, task is very easy. 1 week you have to finish the task. Definitely that can be completed within 1 week. In the worst case, out of 1,000, maybe one situation will be there where it cannot be done. But a manager, they have to hire the resources, but there are now no good resources. Client is not going to listen to all this. Client is going to give some sort of what do you call, client is not going to agree. Client is going to push the managers and other people every day. You guys, you cannot find out the resources in your project, then why should we give project and all? Now managers are going to talk to HR managers, HR recruiters will get some sort of pressure from the managers. So like this, it is very difficult. See, why simply to reject an interview person is going to take an interviews? That will never happen. See, the mindset of the interviewer will be like this. No interviewer in this world is going to sit there in a panel just to reject the candidates. Every interviewer is going to sit in a panel to select a knowledgeable resource and a beautiful mindset resources. See, the interviewers will be sitting like this. I wanted to select at least this particular candidate. So candidate 1 come in, candidate 2 come in, candidate 3 come in. So at least first candidate, suppose if he is going to answer these questions, I would like to select him. So if selecting this particular candidate, I would be happy today. Like this, interviewers will be always there with a mindset of selecting the people. They don't reject at all. See, when they are going to ask the questions based on your responses, they will be asking further questions. And even if you are not able to properly answer the first question, second question, third question, still they will ask you. At least this point, if he is going to tell or say answer, then I would be happy. I can give him a chance to get into organization. Like this, interviewers are always tend to select the candidates. There will not be any interviewer who wanted to reject the candidates straight away. Who do not set their mind to reject the candidates. Everyone will be setting their mindset to select the candidate. If they are going to take an interview from a technical person, if the technical person is really good and meets their expectation, they will be very happy. The day when they go their home, they will tell other people also. They will tell their colleagues or maybe their friends or their family member, today I have interviewed one candidate. His knowledge is extraordinary. I have never seen this type of guy in my career so far. And if he is going to, if he is been selected by me, further if he is being selected, he is going to onboard into our project only. So our project is going to be driven very well because I have seen his knowledge. I believe in his knowledge. He has such a good capability and ability to drive the project and all. So that's how they will be happy, and even on the floor also with colleagues also they will discuss the same. I have interviewed that candidate. That candidate is going to join next month 14th and all. Once he is going to come, our work will be sorted out a little bit. He is a good guy. We will get some more help with an additional resource, and our client will also be happy. Like this, they will wait for you to till you join. This is how the panel is going to be. This is how the people in the reality. Then why you are getting rejected? The reason for getting rejected is candidate himself. What is the reason? Candidate himself. The reason is very simple. So many people, they feel like you are going to be rejected by the interviewer even though you answer all the questions. Even though fourth question, why interviewers reject you even though you answer all the questions. Many people, they don't realize what they are doing. That is the problem. See, interviewers simply do not reject you. They will definitely hire you because they are sitting there to interview a candidate, to hire the candidate and to fulfill the position, to get the billing from the client. So in such case, why they have to reject you? It is you making them to reject. The problem is within you. See, you do not have proper subject knowledge. Your communication is not good. And many people, they answer like this. Suppose if the question is being asked and they are going to answer like, so data page is a requester level, we have node level, and something like this way of answering doesn't work out. Even though ultimately at the end of the interview you have answered all questions, but this way you're not fluent in the delivery. In the delivery of the technical things, you should be fluent. So when you are fluent, so the specific modulation is there. So being an expert, your modulation should sound like that. So when you are going to be spoken out like an expert in the technology or in the respective subject, then they feel happy to select you. You feel like 10 questions are asked, 10 questions have been asked, I answered all 10 questions. I don't know why that guy has not selected me. That guy has not selected you because the way, the delivery or the way how you express the things is not good. He feels you like you have a learning knowledge, that's it. You do not have any hands-on experience. You are not a kind of person to deliver the things which are there in your mind. You will not be able to pronounce. So what? It is there in your mind, you can perform on the floor, right? No. In the floor, when you are working in a project, you have to explain what you have done to the client. On status calls and all, you have to talk to US clients or Australia clients, Canada clients or other countries clients. You have to explain them on call what you have done. You are not able to explain me orally what you have done in the past when I ask you questions. How come you explain to the client? That's the reason I don't want to select you. This is very simple. So the main quality for a candidate while attending interview is your fluency of delivery. That is most important. Many people who are entering into IT industry with keeping fake experience, they will fail only for the reason when they speak out, we can easily find out that you are a learner, you are not someone who has having hands-on, because your fluency says that. What we can do? See, you do not know the technical terminology. You have never spoken out this technical terminology. Multiple times when you speak out this technical terminology, fluency will come to you. You have never practiced it. That's why you are not able to be fluent. When you are not fluent, you will come to know easily that you are a fake guy. That's it. You are a fake person. That's it. So that is most important thing in interview is your fluency of delivery while you are answering the questions, especially the technical questions. So that shows you are an expert in the subject. So that is what most important thing. And where exactly people fail cracking interview? This is the main place where you are failing in cracking the interviews. And one more point when you are cracking interviews where you fail is you usually do not know the team structures and the methodologies followed and status calls, stand-up calls, different roles of people, different teams of people whom you communicate, different tools that you access in your application. These things also many people, they don't know. That's why when questions are being asked about these tools, different environments and all, will be failing. And we have made few videos, series of videos explaining about all this technical terminology related to real-time architecture of enterprise application and all. So where you can watch those videos apart from this video, if you're going to watch that, that is going to help you. So guys, I hope you understand here about this interview cracking tips and tricks, especially for PEGA. When you are learning, you have to know about front end, transactional design, back end, relationship between front end and back end, and also the table names and the columns, what is the importance of some of the columns. All this one should know about, and you should be having such an ability to understand the functional requirement and to analyze that requirement. You should get the ideas quickly of what rules I can use in order to implement this requirement. So this type of ideas when you are getting, you will be able to crack the interview. And third one, interviewer mindset is like always to select a candidate, not to reject. You have to prove to him or her, the interviewer, about your knowledge, and you showcase entire knowledge that you have. And one more point I want to tell you here is, many people, they feel like interview is a question and answer session. For your information, it is not like that. Interview is all about presenting your skill to the interviewer. That's it. The presentation should be good. See, you don't need to know about all 100 subject points that are available in a subject. You know only 20 out of it, but 20 you are perfect. Then you will be definitely selected. So the way you present to be perfect person, technical guy, that is going to make you selected. And the interviewer mindset is always to select the candidates. And the reason for getting rejected in the interview is the fluency of delivery is missing while you are explaining the technical things, and you don't know about the real-time team structures and real-time project structure and all. That is also another reason. And one main reason what I find is fluency of delivery only. Technical terminology you will not be able to deliver. So this is also another main reason where you fail. Hope guys you are going to correct all these things, and in order to correct all these things, you have to sit back and you need to speak out those technical terminology and all. You should improve your ideology and understanding or thought process to understand functional requirements, to understand function, to have the functional analysis being done, to get the ideas of what technical rules to be used to implement functional requirements like that. And if you are going to correct yourself in all these aspects, definitely you will be able to crack any interview. And now, so related to PEGA, I am going to make, starting from tomorrow, make series of videos. I believe these videos are going to be around 15 to 20, even more than that, I'm not sure. Okay, we'll take some questions, and those questions related answers also I'll explain you through PRPC how you have to answer and all. Okay, let me tell you, and during this series of videos, there will be some challenging questions to understand and to answer, and which is going to give you real knowledge about PRPC to its depth. Okay, let me tell you one example. Let us see how many people who are going to watch this video are going to answer this question, who are already aware of PEGA. So if you are already aware of PEGA, post your answer to this particular question in the comment section of this video. The question is, I wanted you to fetch a single record from a table. There is a table, customer ID, first name, last name, age, gender, all these are there. Customer ID is the key property. Using a key property, you can fetch single record from the table. You might be feeling like it is a simple question, right? Let me add something more to it. You should not use activities or any obj open or any equivalent methods to do this. You shouldn't use a report definition, or you should not use a data page. These things should not be used. Okay, without using activities or any methods like obj open, browse, or obj refresh and lock, these methods you should not use. And activity itself you should not use. First thing, data transform you should not use. Report definition you should not use. Data page you should not use. Without your decision table, decision tree you should never use. Even declarative rules, within declarative rules activities also you should not use. Without using all this, how to fetch a single record based on the key property from the table, and also you have to display in the UI. You have to display in the UI. Think about the answer for this question and let me know. You can research anywhere, you can go through any websites, pdn.pega.com, your friends or your seniors, anyone, and post your answer for this question in the comment section of the video. This is what we call as understanding in depth about PEGA. And one more question if you want, I can ask you. Okay, I'll take it in the next class, next going forward videos. At the end of each interview session, I will ask you one question like this. This is, if you are going to research on this, definitely you will be learning the best out of best in PEGA for sure. Okay, so this is Harsha signing off. If you have any questions related to your career guidance, or if you wanted to know anything in PEGA, and if you wanted to crack any interview in PEGA, the interview questions or scenarios that you are facing in interviews when you are attending, you can post those questions in the comment section of our videos. We'll definitely be responding to you within 24 hours, giving you the best solution and best answers to the questions. And also in the future videos, we'll take those questions and give you a visual explanation using PRPC environment. So hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much. Signing off, Harsha.